This is Anchor Your Retirement with Barb Gulin from Safe Harbor Financial Planning Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Barb Gulin provides her clients and prospects the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful strategies to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now here is Anchor Your Retirement with Barb Gulin.
Welcome to the Anchor Your Retirement podcast. I'm your host, Barbara Gulin, and hanging out with me in the studio today is my buddy and pal, Tony Shore. How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing great, Barb. Great to be here with you today. I'm excited about the show.
I heard y'all are finally about to get snow this winter.
Yeah. In fact, we're going to get more snow this coming weekend than we've had all winter so far, they say.
Oh my gosh.
But you know, they always hype it, so we'll see what actually happens.
They do, but I have to know, in Minnesota, does everybody make a mad run for the grocery store and empty the shelves when it happens? They do that down here sometimes.
It would have to be a pretty big blizzard. And this one, when you talk 6 to 12 inches of snow over a 3-day period, I don't think so. People will stop and gas up, make sure their tanks are full. They'll make sure the winter survival kit is in the back of the car, extra blanket, things like that, snow scraper. And they'll probably stop by the grocery store. The grocery stores will be busy tonight after work. But other than that, being a little busier than usual, people don't go crazy. It wasn't like COVID where the shelves were empty or people are loading pallets of water into their vehicle. If there was going to be, we've had forecasts of 4 feet of snow and a blizzard and blowing snow, roads closed. So if you get 4 feet of snow. I'd empty the grocery
store at 4 feet of snow too.
Yep, we would too. But in Minnesota, it takes a lot. It would have to be a pretty big storm to panic people because we have so many snowplows that go out instantly. Plus, this time of year, the ground isn't as cold. So hopefully it will melt fairly quickly. But
I hope so.
Yeah. I'm afraid they're saying I will have to shovel. It's going to be enough that I'll have to shovel at least once, probably twice. So
now, do you have a snowblower?
Yes, I do. I own a snowblower. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And I know that our listeners are waiting for that episode you've talked about. We're going to do an episode why chickens hate snowblowers, right? Or why chickens hate snowblowers, and they do out on the barnyard.
Topic. Is that also like why dogs hate vacuum cleaners?
Somewhat similar. Yeah.
Okay.
Somewhat similar. Yeah. When the snow blankets the farmyard out there, the barnyard animals get a little worried. You crank up the Toro.
Oh, yeah, I could see that. Okay.
You just picture that Rhode Island red spiraling through the air. You don't want to see that. That's not good.
No.
So anyway, I digress. We're talking about empowerment for women entrepreneurs today. What a great topic. I'm going to sit back and hopefully let you do most of the talking.
Well, we'll give it a shot. It's funny. Nearly 40% of Americans have some sort of side hustle. Did you know that?
I'm surprised it's as low as it is. I mean, I have a side hustle. My wife teaches classes on the side, and she's a director at a big company, but she's also, just for kicks and giggles and a little extra coin, teaches classes on the side. I think everybody I know has a side hustle.
And, a lot of people, in my industry, it's a little bit more difficult because we have to disclose everything. When we're doing it, they call it officially an outside business activity or something.
Well, you don't have time for a side hustle. I don't know how you could possibly be a financial advisor and run a company like yours, Barb, like you do, and have a side hustle.
It's a full-time experience, but the books I write and the things like that I do are considered a side hustle of sorts.
Sure. Sure,
but it all ties into the same industry. It's not like I'm out driving Uber on the weekends just because I want to meet
it's
people.
not like you're writing science fiction or fantasy or, fiction novels. You're writing financial books.
I am, but if I could have been a science fiction author, that was like dream job as a kid.
Oh yeah, that would be great to be the next J.K. Rowling or something, right?
Well, and I'm more like old school. I'm thinking Ray Bradbury.
Oh yeah, that's science fiction
Chronicles
stuff.
And that kind of stuff. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to get
Robert Heinlein
here.
Yeah, Blade Runner.
Yes.
Robert Heinlein and those types of authors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Philip Dick. Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about you as an entrepreneur, you being any of the women. Really, this applies to the men in the group too. But since it is International Women's History Month, we're going to go ahead and target the conversation toward our female listeners today. But you male listeners, feel free to chime in. There are a lot of people that have approached me, and I get a lot of unsolicited emails with people wanting to do things like be my virtual assistant or do my SEO marketing or build, something for me in the social media or the marketing front or something like that. And you know what the first thing is that I look at, Tony?
What's that?
It's their email address.
Why is that?
Because if you're serious about owning a company and running a company, you owe it to yourself to buy a domain name and put up a website, especially if you're telling me that you're going to be social media marketing for me or something in the cyber world. You need to have an address on that planet.
That's professional.
That's professional. And
you need to own your own URL. I look for that too. In fact, I go right to the website. If I'm going to work with a company or a professional, I'm going to go, what's their website? And if they don't have a website, it's a no-go, right?
Yeah.
I want to be able to.
It's a red flag in this day and age.
Yeah.
You need to have a virtual presence.
Yes.
I'll
check out their Facebook page, their LinkedIn, their their own URL. If they have these things, they're on a level. Okay, that's one professional bar or hurdle that you need to have. That's the basic, right? I mean,
if you want to be taken seriously, you need to have a digital footprint that reflects that you have invested in this in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
It's and I will go another step further in that, if you want to be taken seriously as an entrepreneur by banks, by financial institutions, you need to go through the effort to get a separate tax identification number and probably form some sort of corporate entity to protect yourself from liability. The corporate entity might come down the road, okay? And there are several websites that you can utilize to draft the paperwork for you and make all of that happen. However, it takes 5 minutes to go to the IRS website and plug in the information and get a tax identification number. But
yeah, it's so easy.
It is. And side note, before you go to the IRS and register your company name, I want you to go to your state Secretary of State's website and make sure that that name isn't being used by another business, at least in your state, because the last thing you want to do is go through all of the effort to perhaps buy a domain name, do some branding, and build that digital footprint on this identity of yours. And then all of a sudden get a cease and desist letter from another company that's got the same name or a similar name, or deal with trademark or copyright infringement or something like that. That can be a huge problem. So, if you care enough and are passionate enough about this that you want to make money on it and you want to do it either on the side or turn it into your full-time job, you owe it to yourself to take it seriously. And, these are starting with the basics. I would also take the time to write out a business plan. You know, it's one thing to say, I want to go out and clean houses for people because maybe you want the freedom of your time. Maybe you want to have a more flexible schedule. I personally am looking for somebody to clean my house for me because, like you said, I am busy enough doing what I do as a financial advisor and working for my clients that I'm ready to start outsourcing some of those things. I outsourced mowing my lawn years ago. Okay. But you owe it to yourself to make sure that you are not infringing on anybody's trademark or copyright before you get going. You owe it to yourself to create that professional presence online, especially if you're going to be working in the digital market. Creating that professional profile on LinkedIn, creating a professional page on other social media outlets. Doing those things, you're going to be 5 steps ahead of your competition. And somebody who is another small business owner or entrepreneur will be more likely to take you seriously if you've put that effort forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good to know, and that's smart. Obviously, these are the beginning steps to be a successful business person or entrepreneur. Even if it's a side gig and you're just going to do it part time, it's smart to do it right and look professional and be professional. Plus, you don't want to cross the IRS. It's good to dot your I's and cross your T's when it comes to having a an official tax ID number, securing a name that's not being used already in your state, and probably you can get these forms online, but you can, form some type of LLC, that type of thing.
Yep. And along with that, you're going to want a separate bank account for the money that you make, because then you aren't commingling your paycheck along with this money.
Yep.
You can start to pay yourself a salary and pay the expenses for that company out of that company account. And you're going to want to keep track of those expenses, because even as a sole proprietorship, you can deduct those legitimate business expenses from your income. And then we're minimizing tax liability.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to be reasonable about it. You can't decide that everything is a business expense just because you own a business. Okay.
Yeah. IRS will audit you, your business and you personally, if you start doing that.
Right. I mean, if you own a house cleaning company, buying a designer dress is not going to be an easily justifiable business expense.
No.
Okay?
No.
If you own a bakery, same thing, If it's a bakery, can you write off some of your groceries? Yeah, but I wouldn't write off the steak.
True.
If you're if you've got a cottage bakery, butter, sugar, flour, eggs, baby. Beyond that,
you might be in trouble. Yeah.
But save your receipts. There's several apps that are available to help you track your business expenses and track your business mileage. All of those things, it's one of those things where if you're going to hit the ground running, you have to lay out some of this stuff to be taken seriously and to take yourself seriously.
Yeah, true.
If somebody wants to be my virtual assistant and they have a generic email address from Gmail or Hotmail or Yahoo, I delete it. No offense meant to that person and props to you for trying, but I, especially in a regulated industry, need to know that I'm working with somebody that is going to take the security of my data seriously.
Yeah.
And that will go the extra mile to present themselves as somebody who is taking it seriously. So,
yeah. I'm always shocked when I work with, there's been a few times when I work with somebody who's a professional running their own company and the email address they use to email me is an AOL address.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow. Yeah, they're not too professional doing that. But that's a good point. These are all great points and things that a lot of people out there probably don't think about. They don't think, oh, what's wrong with that? Well, it does come across, and people are looking for more professionalism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And while we're on this subject, since this is supposed to be about financial empowerment,
Sure.
the name of the game is to not spend everything that comes in.
Right.
You want to budget for that rainy day. And I know it's hard at first. And at first, you may be taking money out of your own paycheck and putting it into this business venture to make your dream a reality, and more power to you. I think that, it's exciting when people do that. I've done that. This being a financial advisor is not my first career, and it's not my first trip on the entrepreneurial Ferris wheel. Okay.
Yeah, right.
I ran a bakery before I got licensed. I've got 2 kitchens in my house. And the second kitchen was licensed and inspected by the state. I had a corporate entity. I had separate bank accounts. I did it so that people would take me seriously.
Right. That's important. Yeah. But wait, you're actually saying that I need to make more than I spend? What?
I know, it's a strange concept, isn't it?
For many people in many situations. But yes, that's the goal, to get to that point, right?
And I want you to pay yourself a salary, and I want you to enjoy the fruits of your labor. I also want you to make sure that you put some of that money back for taxes, because even as a sole proprietorship, the IRS is going to want you to file a Schedule C on your tax return, where you're going to have to document all of the money that came in. You deduct the expenses, and after the expenses, what's left is considered your income. And you not only have to pay income taxes on that, but you have to pay your Social Security and Medicare taxes on that.
Yeah.
That surprises a lot of people. It ends up like 15.3% or something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is. It adds up. So, I don't want you to have a fabulous year, treat yourself to a cruise, and then find out that you owed what you spent on the cruise in income taxes, and now you're behind the 8 ball.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be behind the 8 ball with the IRS ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And as you grow, when you start adding team members, whether they're employees or contractors, be sure that you work with an expert and understand the laws around whether somebody has to be an employee, or whether they can be a contractor, or whether you need them to be an employee versus a contractor for your own liability protection. But we're kind of getting into a more advanced conversation at that point. But
yeah, employees add a lot of, you really need to work with somebody who knows what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And I know that companies, the company that you and I work with as far as finance is Gradient. They have what's called a catalyst team that helps independent advisors across the country when they need to hire people or start building a staff with those exact things.
They do. And we have and currently are utilizing their services.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a good financial advisor, I know a little bit about HR. I know enough about HR to get into trouble.
Yeah.
So, I let the experts handle things. And, regardless of what your passion is, whether you want to be a freelance writer or a proofreader, or provide a service, or make candy, bake, do social media, all of those things that people do. We understand that that's your passion, but, please, you owe it to yourself to get the help where you need the help in certain areas, so that we can help you be as successful as possible. Because the thing is that when you're successful and you build that bigger business where you're taking in more than you need to live on, we can then start doing things like planning for your retirement and setting aside money out of this side hustle that could be a significant amount of savings to you later on in life. But we want to help you set it up right. Starting off on the right foot is a whole lot easier than having to go back and fix a mistake, or finding out that you're vulnerable financially someplace and you didn't realize it, and end up getting hit with a big tax bill or something like that on the back end.
Yeah. Yeah, so important. So you really want to make sure you're checking off all of these boxes and talking to somebody who's maybe gone ahead of you. There are a lot of women in business who have paved the way. And if you're a woman and starting your own company and going to take some of this advice, make sure you get the help you need along the way.
Right. And if you're thinking about starting a business, again, go online and look. There are women's networking groups in cities all over the country where you can go meet other entrepreneurs. You can talk to them about the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur. You can even find out if there's really a need for the service that you want to have.
Yeah.
Because right now the market is changing so quickly,
rapidly. Yeah.
And something that was a valuable service 10 years ago, like converting VCR to DVD,
that's gone.
It's probably obsolete by now,
yeah.
Or definitely the demand isn't there.
No,
like there was 10, 15 years ago. So, again, do your research, take the time to take it seriously enough to buy a domain name. There are websites out there where you buy the domain name that they will even help you build the website right there on spot. You don't have to hire a web designer to at least get the basics up.
Yeah, the first step is coming up with a company name. The second step is going to your Secretary of State department, you said, for your state, and checking to see if that name is available. Then
and then you register that name for yourself.
And then you register it and with the state. Then you go to GoDaddy.com. Or one of the other sites. GoDaddy is one, and you type in that name as a URL. So, and
if it's already taken, they'll tell you it's taken. Or before you even go to GoDaddy, what I'll do is I'll plug it into Google.
Yeah, just go to that site.
Comes up. Yeah. And see if a site comes up.
Yep.
So, and then if it doesn't, then you go to GoDaddy. If that domain name is taken, they'll give you suggestions for what you can use instead.
They'll let you know if it's available and how much it'll cost and what is available. Yeah.
And then, if you are one of those people that wants to avoid a bunch of solicitations and junk mail around it, pay the extra few dollars to have the anonymous who is registration so that somebody can't look it up and see. Just a sidebar there. I've learned that lesson the hard way.
Yep. That's a really good one. That's a really good one.
But, and we applaud you for your entrepreneurial journey. We just want to help you start it off on the right foot.
Yep. Well, there you go. I think it's great. Good show today. A lot of great information for women who want to be entrepreneurs out there. Some great advice, or who maybe are and are just starting out. Good show, Barb.
Thanks, Tony.
Yep. Give that phone number if somebody wants a financial plan in place.
Yes.
Let them know how to get a hold of you.
They can reach out to us. You can either go to anchoryourretirement.com and contact us through that, or you can call us at area code 913-553-6222.
All right, Barb, great show today. Listeners, thanks for tuning in. That does it for today's episode of Anchor Your Retirement with our host, Barb Gulin.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to Anchor Your Retirement. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound retirement plan. For more information, please contact Barb Gulin at Safe Harbor Financial Planning Group. Call 913 1-800-553-6222 or visit them online at anchoryourretirement.com.
Advisory services are offered through Safe Harbor Financial Planning Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Kansas. All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.